It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to talk about the cookies that are most likely to get the magic candies next. As you can see, the way I have my cookies sorted right now is by release date, and the first 5 magic candies that we've gotten are part of cookies that were all technically released at the same time. The only one that had a featured banner that was not necessarily first was Espresso Cookie, and so the others, they were within the game assets to begin with. They were cookies that were there to start. But the reason I think that we got Vampire, Espresso, and Yam before we got the others was because of the impact that they made towards the game. So I believe that Yam made a huge impact and a big difference for Alliance mode. I believe that Espresso was really important for things like PvP battles and story mode and master mode. And I think that Vampire was a big impact on guild boss battles and other hard boss battles as well. Not only did Vampire do really great in PvP as well, but specifically catered in the sense of doing well for those other modes. So I think that's why we got those 3 first. Then we got Rye, who was really good for guild boss battle. Pretty usable in PvP mode too, but I think better catered towards guild boss. And I think with Milk, was better for story mode, master mode, dark mode, tropical islands, things like that. So it's not that Milk isn't usable in the arena now. It's just a more selective team and a selective build. But, overall usability raised for Milk and the Magic Candy, but specific modes that Milk's being better for. So if we're looking at release dates, I think that's going to matter what's coming next, who's getting what next. And I think what will be interesting to see is what we get next. So my thoughts for right now are going to be Kumiho and Almond and Latte, I think are the next 3. Yes, technically Cream Puff would be canonically before Latte and Almond, but I think Cream Puff's going to just get a little bit of a back pause because Cream Puff had that massive adjustment that gave all that power that made her pretty usable as a healer in most instances and really good in PvE mode. So I think the adjustment for her to catch up with some in the meta isn't as great as the other ones. Not that any of them are specifically weak, but I think as far as how much need some of the others might have, I think Cream Puff's probably in the later half of the needs. So I think that Cream Puff would probably get this one at the same time as like Black Raisin. And I think the next 3 that we'll get will be like Kumiho, Latte, and Almond. Whether we'll get 3 at the same time, I don't know, of course. But that's who I think the next 3 are. Now, Kumiho does really great in scam comps. Obviously a perfect option for that. But she falls short for some other modes. She doesn't really do a lot for PvE. She has almost no impact on any guild boss battles, even though she has a defense reduction, which you would think you could use against the Red Velvet Dragon, but it only does 1 stack, where Dark Chocolate does 4. So there's not really enough happening with Kumiho for it to be used in multiple modes, and so I think that's one reason we might get an adjustment magic candy for Kumiho. Potentially. It's not a guaranteed, but it is a potential. Latte, yes, Latte did just get a buff. Got the silence adjustment and everything. But what will be very interesting, and I think could be very likely to happen, is that we get a magic candy for Latte, especially with the post that Dev Sisters made with the back to school. I think that was kind of like a lean-in hint that Latte might be getting something next. Because yes, of course it is almost school time again, but that was kind of like an innuendo hint that maybe that could be the next precursor coming up. So I'm leaning heavily into Latte for that reason. But what's interesting is if Latte gets a magic candy, similar to the way Espresso did, you could see a very powerful coffee team that's just like completely centered of AoE damage. And what's cool about that is that it kind of answers a lot of the damage resistance meta that's going on right now. There's a lot of teams that just have such tanky setups. And if you get units like Espresso and Latte and Dark Cacao and Sea Fairy and maybe like Frost Queen or something, you just get this huge AoE bomb that hits the enemy team. They're not going to really be able to do too much about it, especially if the skills are impacting what's happening to them too. So I'd be very interested to see what could be a magic candy for Latte. Hopefully that's something that could come soon. Almond, yet again, strong cookie in its own right for what it does. If you pair it with the right cookies, you can do some serious damage to boss monsters. But as far as dealing damage to other units, Almond does kind of fall short for that. Yet again, they can't perfectly balance every unit to be within the same aspect of each other. But what could be very interesting is that maybe Almond could give true damage to any cookie that it pairs with. So maybe instead of you specifically needing to use Sorbet or even true damage off of Milk Cookie, maybe it could just give a temporary true damage to any cookie that hits with the skill. And maybe it'd be like the highest attack or the highest cookie critical percentage or the highest attack speed cookie. Not sure really how it could go, but it'd be very cool to see one cookie get like temp true damage just because of Almond. Like that would be an amazing magic candy skill, because think of it this way. Pastry would become instantly better by far leagues even before needing a magic candy if Almond was to get something like that, because then you could pair them together, and if it did target Pastry as the condition, it would be dealing true damage ricocheted off of each unit and opponent. And that'd be just so cool. Like, the combinations and the synergies there would be insane. So, obviously I have no clue what could be coming or who will get the next magic candy. Maybe it'll be another 2 updates before we even get another magic candy. I don't know. I don't know what the speed of what they're going to release at is. I don't think we'll get one in the next update, but maybe at least the update after that, potentially. But I'd love your feedback and your opinions of who you want to see next. I'm 99% certain that we are not going to get a magic candy for an ancient cookie. Yes, release-wise, Pure Vanilla would be coming up soon. I really don't think that's going to be happening. It would make a very oppressive meta setup that I don't know if anyone would be too keen on seeing, especially for the people that either start brand new or just don't have the ancients unlocked yet. So I don't know if we'll be getting ancient magic candies anytime soon, to be 100% honest. But I do think Kumiho, Latte, and Almond have a good chance of being next. I'm leaning most towards Latte. Let me know in the comments what you think and what you're hoping for. What would you like to see? I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.